Was I correct in stating you're currently with the Killeen Police Department?
Yes, ma'am. As long as the child support stayed where it was, I agreed to pay half of that car payment for the life of that car, which pushes it 2 years past her age of 18.
Your Honor, I believe we'll likely be able to finalize this today. I believe both parties do agree that as of February 29th, 2024, Mr. Kraus was paid ahead in child support by $58.01. Parties are not in agreement. I believe Ms. Hill would like to carry the health insurance through her spouse. I believe her testimony will say that she has not ever received a card for the Tricare insurance, and so she has not been able to use it. I believe Mr. Kraus is taking issue with the amount of child support if it were ordered to be guideline based on his VA disability, military retirement, and his salary as a Killeen police officer. Says that they have a alternate visitation schedule where they go, I believe it's 332. He can correct me during his testimony if that's incorrect, but that they do share the child Addison in excess of the standard possession order.
Sure.
Ma'am, can you state your name for the record?
Amanda Sue Hill.
And ma'am, are you in agreement that as of the last day of February that Mr. Kraus was paid ahead a bit in child support?
If that's what the records say, yes, ma'am.
Okay. As far as health insurance for Addison, how does Addison have health insurance at this time?
Currently, she's covered under my husband's health insurance. I know that Evan has some form of Tricare on her. However, her military ID card expired when she was 12 or 13. I do have it on file with Scott and White because it was on file with them prior to her going, like prior to her military ID expiring. But I have since tried to use it to do like her sports physical or something like that at another clinic, and I wasn't able to utilize it because they told me that Tricare now goes by a DOD number, which would be on her new military ID should she be issued one. As far as any additional like coverage that Mr. Kraus may provide to Addison, I have never physically received any insurance card from him or any information for insurance cards from him. He has always told me, oh, I'll call the doctor or I'll call the office and give them the information. He's never provided me with the information of a policy for coverage. And so my husband, Scott and White, actually informed me that he dropped her from Tricare Prime to Tricare Standard. And so my husband started carrying her on his insurance.
How much does that insurance cost each month for Addison's part?
Let me pull the new numbers. It would be his medical is he gets paid bi-weekly, so 26 checks a week year. He pays $7 for the family coverage, which is 4 people. His portion would be $32. So 43 divided by 3, and then dental is 21 minus the 5 it would cost him to cover himself, and then so what is that, 16?
Yeah,
16 divided by 3.
Okay, so your testimony is that health insurance under your husband's insurance would be $14.33 for Addison?
Every 2.
Let me do a little bit more calculating then. 26 and then 372.58 divided by 12. And so that's about $31 for Addison for health insurance per month through your husband's.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then 3 times 26 and then about $11.55 for the dental insurance.
Bear with me. I should have done the math and I apologize.
No worries. That's just taking the 533, multiplying it by 26 pay periods per year and then divided by 12.
Yes, ma'am.
Is how I got that number. Okay. Does the insurance cover anything special or any kind of health conditions that Addison has?
Yeah, so she's got scoliosis, And so we're seen for that. She's also got ADHD. We're seen by a psychiatrist that's gotten white for that. I think that's it.
Are you concerned that if it were moved to the Tricare Standard insurance, that she wouldn't have to change specialists, or there's medicine that maybe is pricey, it wouldn't be covered?
Definitely our cost would significantly increase. Our coverage through my husband's employer is very good.
As far as the visitation schedule, how do you and Mr. Kraus have Addison?
So in the original order, it was set based upon his days off. His days off changed a couple years into us being divorced. So since that time, we've done 1 week. She goes Thursday night at 6 to Sunday at 6. And then the next week she goes Tuesday night at 6 to Thursday night at 6. And then she's home for till the fall that weekend, all the next week to Thursday again. And then she goes Thursday night to Sunday night. And then the following week, the Tuesday to Thursday. So it's how many days it is, and it's very similar to a standard expanded standard possession order. As far as I want it to be equitable and make sure that she has access to her father.
Is this schedule that you're doing right now to help accommodate for days when Mr. Kraus has off?
Yes, ma'am. Or it was. I've since been told through my child that his days off have changed again, but he didn't bring that to my attention.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to bring up to the court that we haven't talked about?
That I think if the medical situation were to change, and our copays would significantly increase on a plan like Tricare Standard. It's very difficult for me to actually have Mr. Kraus pay copayments for things. I have to remind him multiple times, and still he doesn't pay the copayment. Other than that, summer visitation, I don't think that the summer was really spelled out in our initial order. So probably 4-ish years ago, so that we would both be able to have a summer vacation with our daughter. We both started picking 2-week periods that we would have her consecutively.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
All right, ma'am, real quick, y'all been doing this since the original order, correct? As far as this visitation is concerned, except for the summer thing?
So the original order was based when he was working every other month. He would be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the next month he would have weekends off. So the original order was, I believe, Monday to Wednesday on the days that he was off, and then for a solid month, and then the next month it would flip to every other weekend starting on Thursday. So when his schedule changed, I came up with something that would give him the same amount of days that he had under the previous order, but worked with his new schedule.
So, okay, so you're telling the court this time that's pretty much the same amount of days, it's just a different schedule?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll be back in just a moment. You may call your next witness then, Ms. Hubbard.
Thank you. The state would like to call Evan Kraus. Sir, will you state your name for the record?
Evan Matthew Kraus.
And sir, do you have Addison on Tricare currently?
Yes, ma'am. She's currently enrolled in Tricare. Nothing's ever changed.
I guess I didn't know there were different levels of Tricare. Which level of Tricare is it?
I'm Tricare retired. At this time, she can see any specialist. Nothing's changed since our divorce. She's always used my social security number whenever Addison needed any payment. She's also covered under my wife's work with the current ID card, her medical. She has dental and vision also with my wife's work that Miss Hill has also used during her braces and her glasses. Whenever we would dealing with her braces, our other insurance also kicked in with that, ma'am. So like I said, nothing's changed from the day we got divorced in reference to Addison's ID card. She does have an ID card. It is expired. My day off is Friday, so it's kind of hard getting her another ID card. She doesn't have to go on Fort Hood to see a doctor. She can actually see any doctor she likes. And And again, I'm not aware. I've tried to listen to what Miss Hill was saying, but her connection was in and out. So it was kind of hard to hear what she was saying.
Having the Tricare under your retired plan, does it cost you anything to cover Addison?
It's like, I don't quote me. I'd have to pull it up on Tricare. It's like $3 something a quarter. It is full medical coverage with the $30 copay. Medication's free. We can get free medical, or I don't say free, but can go to Walgreens, and like my medical prescription at the most, I pay like $1.35 for my prescription medication at Walgreens. So it can be picked up at either Walgreens or a choice of wherever she wants it picked up at.
All right, then, sir,
Okay.
real quick, as far as the Tricare is concerned, okay, you say you got Tricare retired. How's that different from Tricare Prime?
I don't think there's really much difference, Your Honor. Like I said, I'm not aware of what actual coverage it is, but nothing has changed from the day we got divorced with her medical. Except we did go to Tricare East, which does allow us to go off post to see different doctors and not just a military specialist.
And she originally, when y'all got divorced, was on Tricare Prime, and this Tricare retired something new?
No, sir. I've always been retired. Even when we got divorced, I was retired. So it's been the same medical plan.
Okay, then, because I had Tricare Prime. I was in my last year of law school. The dad long since retired by then, but it was still Prime. I've just never heard, but this. Is there a difference between is this correlates to Standard, or does it correlate to Prime? Do you know, sir?
Your Honor, I couldn't tell you right now, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You may continue with the witness, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you said 3 something per quarter. Is that like 300?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't want to just say it was $3. So
And like I said, don't quote me on the exact price. I'd have to look at it and pull some records to check that. I don't currently have that with me. And excuse me, and I think Addison's ID card actually, she said when she was 12 or 13, I do believe what she said, but it did expire probably a little over a year ago, maybe, or 2 years. She currently has that ID on her person, I do believe. Addison does. So I'd have to see exactly when it did expire. But it is currently expired, and I just have to make an appointment to get her up there to get a new one, and that wouldn't be an issue. It's just have to take her out of school, and dealing with their sports and all that stuff is kind of hard to get a time.
okay. As far as where you're working, was I correct in stating you're currently with the Killeen Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And I have a reported wage of $7,756.52 that is being told to the state before taxes. Does that sound correct?
I have my last year W-2. I got my W-2 right here, so I don't know what that equates to. But in 2022 was 81,557, and 2023 was 85,912. And again, I don't know what that equates to monthly. I'd have to pull those records also and see.
Have you received any promotions since in 2023?
No, ma'am, no promotions. I'm still a police officer.
Have you received any payment increases for cost of living or any merit raises or anything?
We get our step increases every, I think it's every 2 years, which is just a longevity pay.
Okay. So the figure that you gave me from your 2023 taxes would equate to about $7,159. That's a difference of about $600 between what the state's being reported and what your prior taxes show. As far as the VA disability, how long were you in the military, sir?
I was in the military roughly 13 years combined with 3 years National Guard and active duty.
And what rank did you retire as?
I retired as an E5, ma'am.
Okay.
Which is a sergeant.
Oh, how much do you receive each month for your VA disability?
It's non-taxable income. I've got the award letter right here. If you give me a minute to find it, ma'am.
Sure.
I've got it right here, dated March 5th of 2024. And the benefit number is $1,968.28, ma'am.
And do you also receive military retirement income?
I do not receive any of that anymore, ma'am.
When did that stop?
When I went on to the IRS.gov, I guess it started whenever our disability got increased to 70%, because I stopped receiving military retirement because I was medically retired, so I can't collect on both of those. How that worked is 70% of my military retirement was tax-free due to my disability. I guess in 2021, when I went on IRS.gov last night, I no longer receive any military benefit. When I went, and I also went on to the VA website and the MyPay, and it no longer says I receive any military retirement. I guess that's due to my 70% disability, but that stopped in 2021. And it was roughly, I want to say $36 a month at that time, because the way they were doing my disability and the military retirement, since it was medically retired, I wasn't collecting two retirements, ma'am. I'd have to do a full 20 years and do a normal retirement before I could collect my military retirement and my disability.
Okay. Now, as far as the possession schedule, you're asking the court to consider the extra things that you do when calculating guideline child support. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Because when Addison just recently got a car, roughly 5 months ago, and me and her husband, Mr. Hill, we communicate when it comes to Addison, our daughter. And I had explained to him that for the 4-year note, that pushes it past the time Addison turns 18. It takes her to about 20 to help her get through college or whatnot. That as long as the child support stayed where it was, because that's going to be pushing it where it would make it hard for me to live, I agreed to pay half of that car payment for the life of that car, which pushes it 2 years past her age of 18. I haven't missed any payments on that car. Oh, and I'm sorry, ma'am, to go back to copays, and she said that I don't make my co-payments. I've made every co-payment that I was supposed to make. Granted, I do miss them occasionally, and she does have to remind me, as she stated, but there are no co-payments that haven't been paid by me. I just wanted to clear that up, ma'am. But as I said, having Addison roughly 43 at the time, with the way we have it worked out, I did agree to make her half her car payment up to the after the age of 18 to help get her through college. I did pay half the prom dress, or maybe not half the prom dress this year, but like I said, extra expenses on top of what I do. I know they maybe looked at gifts, but every time Miss Hill or Mr. Hill or Addison asked me, say, hey, look, can you pay half of this? I never hesitate to do that. But like I said, it's not always half. But the prom dress, it was $150 just here, like less than 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then it's going to be $150 for her hair. So it equates to half of her, like her prom, her school dances, and every other activity that she does. I'm always asked to pay towards that, and I don't have an issue doing that.
How much is the portion of the car payment that you're paying each month?
I'm paying $150 every month, and I have the receipts right here to show that I've made every payment since she's got that car.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to make sure the court considers today?
And when I said, I don't know if this has any bearing, and I don't mean to insult anybody when I do this, but that the car note over the next 4 years that I agreed to pay would equate to around $7,200, which pushes it past her initial age of 18 when the child support does stop. And I said, and I got text messages with her husband, which stated like, hey, look, I can't afford to do that if my child support increases, but I will continue making these payments until the car is paid off. And I think the child support, if it was increased, equates to like $7,500 up to the age of 18. I mean, like I said, in all the other expenses I paid throughout the year, I know they may be considered gifts or whatnot, But like I said, I don't hesitate to pay any of those things when I'm asked to do so, ma'am.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
All right, sir. Do you have Tricare retired reserves, or is Tricare something else retired?
It is Tricare. If you give me a minute, I can go online to see exactly. But like I said, I was active duty, so it's Tricare active. It's not reserve.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm sorry, Ms. Hubbard. You can recall Ms. Hill at this time, or does the state have any other witnesses they wish to call?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
All right. What's the new child support amount looking? What would the new child support amount look like?
Your Honor, with the amounts that Mr. Kraus testified to and the state's wage confirmed of $7,756.52. If we give him credit for $100 to be paid towards insurance, and Mr. Kraus, do you have any other children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The guideline amount would be $1,808.
I gotta ask a question real quick. Does that include my disability?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. All right. Other than the Mr. Krauss, other than the summer, Ms. Hill testified that you're pretty much getting the same visitation timeframes as you got in the original decree of divorce. Like I said, it's different. So I had at that time to look down with a calendar and try to figure out everything you folks have been doing. But the mom testified that it's pretty much the same except for the summer. Is that based on your calculation, sir? Is that true?
Yes, I have my daughter. I get her on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then again on Wednesday, Thursday, she goes back on Friday. And then I don't have her from the that Friday or that Friday from 6, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I get her again on Thursday. So that is correct. That hasn't changed either. It's been those same days since we've been divorced. And the 2 weeks
the reason I was asking that, sir, I was trying to see was did the original trial court judge and this deviate from guideline child support based on that schedule at that time. And I didn't see it in there, but I was still, and I didn't see any mention of it. Do you recall? Both of y'all had a couple of fine attorneys. I respect both of those gentlemen very much. So I was trying to see if that was in there.
No, sir.
All right, then. At this time, I'll start with you, Ms. Hill. And then I'll come back to you, Mr. Krauss. Is there anything else you think I need to know, Ms. Hill, before I take this under consideration, sir? Ma'am.
So the Tricare amount that he did state, 300 and something, is for his whole family, not just for Addison for calculation purposes. Not that it makes a lot of difference. And then as far as copays, and Mr. Kraus stated he paid 150 towards Addison's dress. However, he did not. Mr. Kraus also took it upon himself to schedule Addison's hair. We have someone who does hair and would do Addison's hair for $80. We've told him that. So we've asked him if he's going to pay over that to let us get her hair done because it's more cost effective. And last summer, for example, Mr. Kraus paid for the water slide at her Sweet 16 party, but still has yet to pay his co-payment portion for her glasses last summer. So I just kind of let it go because I can only ask him so many times and get ignored so many times before it's just not worth it just to move on. So I would, as far as the agreement between himself and my husband in terms of Addison's car payment, my husband and my mother put down the down payment for Addison's car. And he does have that agreement with her. However, that is not legally binding. And we would like to have Addison's car paid off for her by the time she graduates, which is why we're here today, so that I can financially be able to do that for her and not have to argue with Mr. Kraus about money.
Ma'am, what's Addison's schedule like? Things have changed tremendously at Fort Hood. My understanding of Mr. Kraus is testifying they only do this on Friday. The ID cards, or she can only set this up on Fridays. What's her schedule like on Fridays?
It depends. Right now it's track season, so it could be a track meet. She's also active in photography and a cheerleader at Belton High School. She's pretty busy, but Mr. Kraus had the last couple summers to renew her ID card and did not make any effort to do so, sir.
All right, and Mr. Kraus, your turn, sir.
Yes, sir. And she said I did not pay $150 towards that dress. I sent it straight to her
Okay.
husband, Mr. Hill.
Okay, well,
Um,
that is definitely counting as gifts, sir. So that's really, you know,
yes, sir.
that's the part that really doesn't
Yes, sir.
child support. So yeah, go ahead.
I just don't like her making me out to be a liar here, but I do have the receipt from paying her husband $150, and it says for dress. So like I said, I don't know why she's saying that. But like I said, we'll actually had a very, very good copay or co-parenting cycle there for a while. We communicated a lot. We were doing co-birthdays. We were doing everything together. I don't know where it went wrong. Nothing's changed, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Again, I looked at your old order. You were always ordered to provide her with all the insurance information, just not take care of it yourself, but give her the paperwork, the ID cards, all that's in the order, sir. How soon could you get her all that data if I decided to tell you to go ahead and look at your original decree of divorce and everything that's in there? I'll give you 30 days to take care of it, and including getting that ID, sir. Understood? Would that be a problem?
No, sir. Depending on when I can get the schedule through Tricare,
Everything's changed since COVID. You can't get a driver's license without a schedule. Can't get a license plate without a schedule. The world's changed. I get it. So,
but as soon as I get done with this, I will schedule her an ID card appointment. So that means I would have to take her out of school one day to go get that ID card taken care of, Your Honor.
you can always schedule it where she only misses one class or something like that. But again, you talk to, like I say, you can talk to a guy, and they didn't even have some of this stuff back in my day, but I had my ID card till, like I say, I was 23, 24 years old. So tell you what, folks, again, your decree is a little different. So I want to have the chance to sit down here this afternoon and look over it and read it and see whether or not the court, how the court's going to set this up, where I'm going to go do a deviation. The card, everything else is not going to be a major factor. I am going to look at the time frames. I'm going to look to see what the difference are since the original order, and see whether or not to offer any type of deviation on this matter. Because again, she's getting ready to turn. She's 16 now.
Yes, sir. She'll be 17 in July.
Okay. And when does she graduate?
Next year, at the end May of next year.
2025.
So never, and she turns 18.
July of 2025.
So we're on it. We're talking about a child support. Yeah, it is substantial, but it's about 14 months, so not crazy. Anyway, well, I want to go ahead and look at everything, guys, and read over your decree, because again, I did that so fast. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Mr. Lebersky and Mr. Blythe have the tendency to put, they dot their I's and cross their T's. So I want to see what's there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, I'm gonna take this one under advisement. I don't think I got anything else this afternoon, so I'll be able to look at this one this afternoon and get it done. But again, and see how I want to try to set this up and what I'm going to do with the health insurance and the child support amount going forward. So at this time, Ms. Hubbard, is there anything else you need from either witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right, are both parties free to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, folks, y'all are free to go. I'm going to put this right here on top of my laptop, so I'll see this. And again, I want to read over your decree, and then I'll go ahead and make a decision. Ma'am and sir, like I said, I'm probably looking at it's part of child support, ma'am, for the health insurance to be included. I'll ask you, ma'am, it doesn't appear that you mentioned Tricare Standard, and that used to be what, and I'm not even finding anything on Tricare. I see Tricare Select. I'm thinking that's standard these days. Is that what you're talking about, ma'am?
Okay. I'm assuming so, sir. I've been removed from the military since Mr. Kraus and I divorced, so I really don't know what their terminology is. I just know that when I did add my husband, I had some issues that got white for her insurance, and that's when they informed me that she was on the lesser of the two plans.
Okay, then well, that may be select, because again, when I was even as a practice attorney, I would never, when I represent the party with the child, I always make sure, yeah, we're going to Tricare Prime. We're never going to do standard because it doesn't cover enough. But anyway, I'll look and see what I got here and see what I can find, and I will make that ruling and get it out to the state hopefully by 5 o'clock this evening, or if not, I got to come back in here in the if the rain lets me come back in, I'll be back in here in the morning anyway. So I'm gonna get this one done. So both of y'all are free to go, and you'll get a copy of the ruling no later than sometime Monday, ma'am, or so. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
To pay off 13,000, she had to pay just $100 a month.
So are you asking for that to be higher?
I will figure because I never got any uniform, kid stuff, nothing for 4 years.
My rent is 13 a month. I have a car
So,
now.
ma'am, all I asked is if you agree with that amount. Do you agree with that amount?
No,